Hi, Don Grierson. Just a little history. I've been very fortunate to be in the music business in a creative sense. I'm not an artist, I'm not a songwriter, not a performer, but working with them for a long time. To give you some belief that you can do it, you have to start off someplace. I grew up in Australia. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do in my life, except I loved music as a listener. And then I took the giant step of saying, I'm going to America, which was easier in those days, to find myself. And I was a young man who was really searching. I knew music was my calling, but I didn't know what that meant. I started out selling records in a record store. That helped me get to meet a few people. Then I met somebody who introduced me to somebody who gave me my first promotion job. And then I worked my ass off, to be honest, and then people noticed this is what happens. And I got an offer to go to Capitol as a promotion man, and then my career from that point was like well on its way. I did promotion, I did international for Capitol, I did marketing and advertising and merchandising for Capitol, so I learned a lot about the different areas of our business. Then they started a label, a subsidiary label at Capitol called EMI America, and they said, you're the head of A&R. I was like, oops, I have to jump into the fire. And you get in this fire, you either get burnt or you put out the fire. And we did very well. Then they moved me back to Capitol as head of A&R there. After a number of years there, I got the chance to go to New York to be head of A&R for Epic Sony. And was there for a number of years, came back, started a small label myself with a partner. There was a point where it was the wrong thing for me, no problems with my partner, just the wrong thing. And I resigned, and I've been basically an independent consultant. Since I've been independent, I've been consulting with artists and small companies of various shapes and sizes, both here and in some cases internationally. And also I teach classes at Musicians Institute here in Hollywood. I co-wrote a book with Dan Kempel, who is also a teacher at MI. And I kind of love working with youth. That's why I teach. And I still stay very much on the cutting edge of our business because I believe in it. We go through the changes, technology and everything, but it's still all about the music. This is the music business we're talking about, right? And there's so many aspects to it. And it all does begin with the music. But when you get involved with music and you do whatever you're going to do in music, there is that other aspect of business. You know, without the music, there is no business. But once there is music and you're going to do something with the music, you have to understand that there's a business. And that means you have to understand the basics, at least, of how to move ahead, deal with the problems that come up, the paperwork, the legalities, the monies. You've got to protect yourself. A lot of these things may sound complicated, and they are, but in the early days, just understanding, and you can learn a lot of this online. It's all online. And then when you need it, you hopefully get to the next step. You need an accountant to make sure your money's taken care of in whatever, paying what you have to pay and doing your taxes, because there's a lot of stories of people don't do taxes. The next thing, the old IRS come after you, and you don't want that. So understanding that whatever you do creatively in the business, and that's where it all starts, you will eventually get to the point, assuming some success, and I hope that's happens for you all, that you're going to have to deal with the business aspects. If you do get to the place where there's a record company looking at you for signing you, then there's the business, because now there's a contract involved. And you need a lawyer to make sure that everything's fair, as the record company will have a lawyer. So understand, and it's not something to be fearful of, but you get to the point, and you do it yourself in the beginning, or get your mom or dad or somebody to do it who understands the basics, and keep track of your expenses, because they're all write-offs when you do your taxes. Until you make money, you don't have to pay taxes. So I'm not a tax accountant, so I'm not giving you the rules of the road. But understand that it is a business. And when there's money involved, and that's what you're hopefully going to make along the way, you have to make sure that the business aspect of what happens with your money is taken care of. So welcome to the music business. It's great, it's fun, it's exciting, and it is a business.